Well, a strong winter storm continues its trek across the eastern United States today, bringing heavy snow and freezing rain to eastern Virginia and North Carolina, as well as extreme cold that will continue and expand across most of the eastern United States. In today's forecast, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know about this winter storm, where its heaviest snow will land and where the extremely cold temperatures will continue to spread. Now, we see the winter storm we've been watching the past few days quickly tracking across the eastern United States. It should lose a bit of steam as it heads over Appalachia this morning with that strong, dry Arctic air pushing in from the north before picking up some Atlantic moisture off the east coast and quickly strengthening into a bomb cyclone this afternoon into tonight as snow starts to fall just south of Chesapeake Bay. We can also spot some rain and snow in the northwestern United States this morning that should continue for the next couple of days. Starting at the upper levels, we'll see this trough dig across the midwestern United States as the day goes on and develop a distinct jet streak just over Appalachia tonight that will supply that system with a lot more lift and contribute to its rapid strengthening tonight into a bomb cyclone, which will have impact mostly for the mid-Atlantic eastern seaboard, especially coastal regions of North Carolina, Virginia, and possibly Maryland, where heavy snow can be expected from this rapidly intensifying storm. Luckily, after the trough passes through, calm weather will reign for much of the country this coming weekend, with a broad ridging pattern shown by most of these upper-level height lines, bowed in an upside-down U. Now, currently, snow across southern Appalachia with some light snow falling right now in Asheville, Greensboro, and Roanoke. Additionally, we have some freezing rain and sleet making travel difficult across parts of North Carolina right now, including Fayetteville and Carolina Beach up into the Raleigh area. Some steady rain showers from South Carolina through the Florida Panhandle as well. Now, as we move through to the evening commute for 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern, that freezing rain continues across southeastern North Carolina, likely making for treacherous roads up the coast there. The system will intensify with the upper-level jet and moisture from the Atlantic, allowing the snow to get much heavier as it starts to move along the Virginia coast up into Chesapeake Bay, with Richmond and the Norfolk Newport News area likely seeing heavy snow for this afternoon's drive home. Please be safe. Moving further into tonight from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern, snow starts to let up as the system moves off the coast, but along the coast here from Kitty Hawk to the southern Delmarva Peninsula, some light snow will probably continue throughout the night. The system will continue to strengthen over the Atlantic tonight, but likely to not much of an audience as we move further towards the weekend. We see some light snow showers follow the system on land as it makes its way up the coast, but the only real chance of significant accumulating snow after this system is over the ocean. It's Thursday night as it makes its way just past Cape Cod and it rapidly intensifies with a 975 millibar center there when some parts of southern New England, including the Cape, could briefly see some moderate to heavy snow as it continues northeast. So, after seeing the overview of the system, let's just go through some of the more granular impacts of the system, starting with the freezing rain, which, as we saw, will mostly be confined to eastern North Carolina. As we make our way through the evening commute, we can see over 1/4 of an inch of ice may fall across much of the region, with Goldsboro possibly getting a 1/2 inch, and Fayetteville and Greenville expected to get a 1/4 inch according to the NAM 3 kilometer. This may be a bit over what can be expected since there is still some uncertainty with where and how much freezing rain will fall, but this should give us a good idea of who should reasonably be prepared for icy roads this evening. A bit more ice is possible overnight before the system moves out over the Atlantic, but should mostly be a glaze to 1/10 of an inch more. Switching over to snow, just getting an overview before taking a look at the locales with heavier impacts. We can see that the light snow showers over West Virginia and Virginia over the next few hours only bring about a trace to an inch before becoming much heavier tonight around 7 to 10 p.m. right along the eastern shore in this area around the northern Outer Banks, Chesapeake and Norfolk. This will be relatively quick hitting, leaving the region around 4 a.m., but not without leaving a good amount of snow, which we'll get to in just a minute. Now, we'll see this faint line of flurries start to develop across the Midwest at the same time, which will only leave a dusting on the ground as it moves in tandem well west of the system. As the cyclone makes its way up the coast, its line of snow showers will touch the Cape and parts of southeastern Massachusetts, likely leaving some snow on Thursday night before it heads off to sea for good. So zooming in on Norfolk, I just want to give you an idea of how heavy the snow is going to be. This cyclone is really going to gain a lot of energy really quickly, so it is going to leave these places with a good amount of snow this afternoon into tonight. Looking at the HER, we can already expect to see 1 to 3 inches here between Albemarle Sound and the Norfolk area by 4 p.m. Eastern this afternoon. But now we should just keep in mind that this could trend a bit more north to give more heavy snow centered around Norfolk and more towards the Chesapeake Bay. as some other models are showing. I'm just showing you the HER so we can see the intensity of the snow more up close than some of these other models. And the intensity of the storm during the evening commute, well, that looks to be tremendous. By the time we get into the late evening, around 10 p.m., we suddenly have 3 to 6 inches of snow across most of eastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina, with 6 to 9 inches of snowfall in those bay areas and along the barrier islands. As we continue through the overnight and into tomorrow, another inch or two of snow will come through, likely during the late morning to early afternoon, to round out this powerful storm in the mid-Atlantic. Let's look a bit closer at the heavy snow tonight, and multiple models, including the HER, have this period of heavy snowfall that could be 1 to 2 inches an hour, creating whiteout conditions. It does seem likely to be centered around the Sound and the Outer Banks, although heavy snowfall rates of 1 inch an hour are still forecasted in the Norfolk area as well. What will really be critical is the timing of this heavy period of snow, as the HER has it occurring during evening commute time around 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern tonight, while the NAM 3-kilometer has it at around 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, something to keep an eye on tomorrow. But now take a quick peek at southern New England Thursday night. As the system passes by, much of the Cape can expect to see about 2 to 4 inches of snow, with much of Rhode Island and even up into Boston likely to see about a traced 2 inches of snow. So nothing too out of the ordinary for these areas, but good to keep in mind heading into Friday. But now we'll shift our attention over to the cold temperatures, which will continue to be a problem across the Great Plains and expand into much of the eastern United States with the passage of this winter storm. That mass of polar air centered over the central U.S. currently will push into Missouri and Arkansas today, bringing colder than average temperatures, before expanding in Tennessee and Kentucky tonight and into North Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia tomorrow, as well as Maryland and Delaware. Now you'll notice that the strength of this cold air weakens as it swells across the eastern United States, especially into Friday. So it likely won't be those record-breaking below zero temperatures that we've seen so far this week, anywhere east of Tennessee and Kentucky, but it will still bring much colder temperatures that will make things quite chilly for much of the country by tomorrow. As we head into the weekend, the ridging pattern will set up, bringing much warmer air from the Pacific across much of the country, which will be quite a contrast to the record cold that some areas have seen over the past few days. However, looking at the one-day surface temperature anomaly, that forecast likely seems far away for most who are experiencing this record cold, which is spreading from Montana through Texas and Arkansas at this very hour. We can see temperatures over 30 degrees Fahrenheit below normal in much of the Great Plains, including Dallas, Fort Worth, Kansas City, and Minneapolis, St. Paul. As we move into tomorrow, that area of cold air moves east and starts to shrink, especially across the Dakotas and Minnesota, who should finally start to feel some relief from this frigid cold air. Most of Kentucky and Tennessee, however, as well as much of the deep south, will have much colder than average temperatures in place tomorrow and tomorrow night. And looking into Friday, the influence of that Arctic air starts to wane, although it will still be much colder than normal for much of the Midwest, especially Kansas and Missouri, with Kansas City, St. Louis, and Springfield still seeing temperatures 20 degrees Fahrenheit below normal. But by Saturday, most of the cold air will have diminished greatly, with temperatures returning closer to normal, although still cool for much of the eastern United States. With that, thank you so much for watching the video. We do daily forecasts on this channel, so please be sure to subscribe and stay updated with all of our latest videos. And as always, please stay safe out there. See you soon. Bye-bye.